retraso por estas dificultades técnicas. Tenemos con nosotros a Christopher Uhler, que viene de la oficina de Zurich de Google. Él es Product Manager de Geo. Tiene un máster en informática y bueno, montó su propia empresa que vendió luego después a los 4 años, y también trabajó en Endowson y fue Product Manager de Blue, que era en su época competencia de Google Maps. Y bueno, ahora está aquí para hablarnos del API de Google Maps.
Thank you. Hey everyone, it's so great to have the opportunity here to be in Madrid and talk to you guys. It's really great to have this huge crowd. So today what I'm going to talk about is give you an overview over the Google Maps API so you see what you can do with it, just giving you ideas. And I'm going to talk also about maplets and mashups. I think these are like old terms which you heard today before. The idea is just to give you like an idea what it is and what you can use it for. First of all, we could ask, why the heck should we care about maps in our websites? There are really a lot of different ways that you can organize your information. So one way is, for example, your pictures from your vacation or your documents. What you can do is you could just throw them all in one folder, and then you can use a search to actually find your document that you're looking for. Another way is that you actually go ahead and order it in some way, either alphabetically or you order it by date, by creation date or something like that. But there's also another way. Let's draw the stuff on a map. So for example, pictures. Wouldn't be really great when you have your vacation pictures and before, I knew I once made a picture and it was like when I visited New York, but I have no clue what the file name is called and I have no clue in what folder. But if we plot all the information on the map, then you will find it really easily because you just zoom in right in and you have it. And just imagine all the information we have, either personally or within a company, that actually have a geo information with it. Either, let's say, your database with all your customers. Well, if we plot all our customers on the map, then it's really easy to find them. And if you start to zoom out, we kind of cluster it, and it seems like a heat map. So you can see, well, in this area, there is no customer at all. So why not? What did we do wrong? How can we get customers in the area? So we see it's really great. Start to using the information we have, plotting on a map. There's a really great way to display this information a lot easier. So, like I said before, putting the information on a map is a really great way to organize your information. So, okay, well, why should you now go ahead and use our API? Well, the idea is, what we strive for is, want to make it really, that's really like one of Google's mission, really try to make it easy so everybody can use our stuff and can use the information. It's really the goal that everybody can put the information they want, they daily use on the map. So what we provide is, you could say, somewhat more like different HTML tags. So instead of an image tag where you just put in an image into your website, well, let's just plot a map in there. So really we want to make it really, really easy that everybody being able to put up an HTML page can actually have a map in there. So we provide, if you want to say, like different HTML tags for map and information on the map. And this HTML tag, if you want to call it the map, we have a lot of functionality in there. So you can zoom in, zoom out, and do all kind of stuff. Plus, we provide already with that a way of formatting your stuff, because you can plot your point of interest, whatever it might be, on the map. And there's even more. We go ahead and we provide you with applications that you can go and do really, really complicated stuff, take from different sources information and put it in a map. So like mashups of mashups. So to start with, it just looks kind of scary, and I mean, we could go ahead and start with the Google Maps API references, but I mean, just a really glance at it. So we just have, of course, the map. That's like the first object we started, of course. Then there's the user interface. The user interface is like the stuff you see when you normally go to Google Maps. So it's like the buttons you have in there to zoom in, zoom out, to pan around, the way to change the way the map looks, get satellite view or get vector data. And then there's, of course, a way to put content on your map. So we can do that as what we call simple overlays, just simple markers, like the one, like the huge one, they're floating down there, or just markers on the map, or put polylines, just lines on the map. We put overlays, so maybe you have like an image you want to put over the map. But we could even go ahead and do more complex stuff, like XML, like put feeds directly on the map. You're going to see that all this stuff later. Or what we newly provide is we have now a layer you can put over your map with all the traffic information. So we will see on this highway there's congestion, so please don't use that road. The other really great thing is this map provides you several services you just can use right off the box. Geocoding. So we have an address. Where is this address located at? The API provides you a really easy way to, you just specify the string of the address and return it your coordinates. And with that you can, set the map to that position. What was just newly released, I think like 2 days ago, is driving directions. So what you can do is, by putting Google Maps on your website, you can provide a routing plan for driving directions on your website. Isn't that cool? Just put it in there, turn it on, and so you can provide your customers a possibility how to get from their home to your company or whatever you want to do. Another really great thing is AdSense for maps. We probably all know AdSense regular for the text ads. So what you can do is you can add this pane to your page. And what we do is we serve these text ads. And as soon as somebody clicks on one of the links, you get a proportion of whatever the customer pays to the site we went to. Well, you can do the same thing with Google Maps now. If you want, and just purely if you want, you can turn it on. And then suddenly we start showing ads on Google Maps. And every time somebody clicks on it, you earn money. But it's not that we force you to have it, it's your decision. Maybe like on a business website, it doesn't really make great impression to have ads on, but it's totally up to the developer, whatever he wants to do. So this is like the basic stuff. Now we can go ahead and start extending it. So all the interface, all the controls, if you don't like them, then don't use them. Make your own. If you don't like our zoom bar, just throw it away and create your own one and just put it in the map, and the map will just work with your stuff. So you can really style the map the way you want it, and it really fits into the web page. There are other components we use, so you're really faster to work, like the marker manager. The marker manager allows you to add markers to the website, and as soon as a marker actually moves off the visible part of the map which we display, then the marker manager automatically deletes the marker, so it doesn't use up that much memory, and the browser will be faster. We have utilities like GeoEnt. So that means you will be informed whatever happens with the map, what the user does, whether he clicks on it, whether he zooms in, he zooms out, and then you can do whatever you want. Well, I think that was enough talking, just purely looking at the reference. So let's just kind of see whatever that means. So in the background, I just have my regular map. And so when you just go ahead and put the map on your website, that's how the map looks like. It's not really the way you're used to the map when you go to Google Maps. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff is missing. For example, too, you're probably used to a double click to zoom in, and then you do it with the right mouse, it zooms out. Well, let's do that here. A strange map just doesn't zoom in, it just moves. Well, that's a default behavior, but you now can decide whatever happens. So let's turn on double click to zoom. All you need to do is you set the property on the map, and now suddenly the map, when you double click again, it zooms in. What you just saw probably now was we clicked, and for some seconds we didn't see any map, and then suddenly the map showed up. That's the time it took to actually go ahead and load the tiles. But when you're on Google Maps, that doesn't happen. That's continuous zoom. When you turn on that feature, as soon as, again, we do a double click, you actually see the map zooming in, and in the background, we start loading the tiles. Yeah, just to inform you, it's really, really slow here, and I had to move to a 3G card. So yeah, there's some stuff which is not working because of that, but never mind. But it was really great to demo the effect of zooming in first. But it's really up to you whether you want to have it or whether not. You can also turn on the scroll wheel zooming. So when you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, you can zoom in and zoom out using the scroll wheel. Now, let's start some controls to the map so the user can do something. Probably the one you're used to is pan and zoom. Now, that's the way you turn it down. That's now the small one. Can you see it? It's hidden right back here. Turn off the boarding, no. That's a small one. Of course, there exists also a bigger one, which gives you an overview to see in what zoom level the user is in. Well, this one is just the zoom. Of course, again, there's the bigger one. Map type, you see it right there in the right top corner. That lets the user choose what type of the map he wants to look at, whether this here, which is the vector map, or satellite images, or whether he wants hybrid, meaning that we actually show him satellite images and draw the roads over it. Scale, that's right down here, so the user can see, how big, when he measures 2 centimeters on the map, how much it actually is in truth. Then you can turn on the overview, which is down in the right corner, which gives you an overview of what the user is looking at. So he can go in and just drags and drops you to a different direction. With all these controls now is that when you just turn them on, they appear in the default location. But if you don't like that, for example, the scale, you want to have it right in the center of the map, well, then you can do it. By turning it on, you can specify within the map where exactly you want to do have it. Well, now in the case that you say, well, I don't like them because they look kind of freaky. I'd rather have them in red, or instead of the zoom bar, I'd rather have, I don't know, some slider or something. Hey, you can do it. That's what the custom controllers are. This one is a really boring one because it's just a rectangle, but you can do whatever you want. The thing is that all the action you can do with the controls, you can do the same thing with the API. So that means that you don't have to use any of our controls. Just create your own ones. And when the user clicks on an action there, in the background over the API, you do the action with the map. Now let's get custom off. So next thing, content. Let's put some stuff on it. Of course, like the really easiest thing is a marker. All you do to get a marker is to get Latin long and tell the map to add the marker. So right now what you just have is a marker. You see when you hover over it, actually shows you some sort of tooltip, and the mouse point changes, but you can't click on it. It's just a marker. Well, there's this other thing you can have info windows. So that's an info window, and that's actually the behavior you expect when you click on the marker, isn't it? Well, in truth, what it is, we just provide a plain marker, and we provide a plain info window. And what you can do, though, we see it later. You get events. So when the user actually goes ahead and clicks on the marker, you get informed. And then you can do whatever you want. You either play some movie and scare them off by playing some music or turning off the map or whatever you want, or just open up an info window. So the other thing is polylines. So it's really easy to draw lines on a map to show like a bicycle route or I don't know, some area or whatever. We can really easily plot maps, polylines on the map. So now let's get to the events. What we can do is when it's to roll over with the API, you get informed whenever the user gets with his mouse on the marker and when he moves off, and then you can do stuff. So for example, what we do have here, as soon as he moves with his mouse on the marker, we just give him another color. But again, here you can say, well, I'd rather like the info window to show up right away. Well, you can do it, whatever you want. And as soon as you move off, you get another event and you just change the other color. Set, I mean, we get a click event. So when the user clicks in the map here, then we get informed. And we know exactly where in the map he clicked. So all we can do is just draw a marker. It is possible to actually move a marker when you already have an existing one. We just can tell the marker, okay, so right now, your new coordinates are right here. So what we did here for an example, we used the rollover event. And once I actually go on the marker, it just moves to another place. It's just stuff you can do. I'm not sure whether it's really useful, but you know, it's just events you get and you can do whatever you want to do with it. Another, I think, really useful features too is the marker actually is draggable, but it's not draggable by default, but you can turn it on. So user clicks on it and just drags the marker. And what happens is, as soon as you turn it on, the marker is able to do it. And you get an event saying, okay, hey, the user actually dragged the marker, and this is the new position. So you get the coordinates again, and you can save it to your database or whatever you want to. Now let's move on. We talked before like other ways of content. So for example, what we can do is you can put tiles over the map. So for example, for like a campus university, like a campus map, and you have more detailed information and you really know where the building is and want to label each of the buildings, well, you can actually do that. So what you just do is you lay like a tile over it. So this is an example. So what it actually does, it always comes and asks you and tells you, well, now the user wants to display this part of the map. Do we have a custom map? And if not, we just show our regular ones. Or you just say, okay, right there, I want to put something else, like an image or whatever. That's a ground overlay. What you also can do is feeds. We get to that later. What it actually is, it's a file. And in that file, we have information about points of interest, just like we saw before with the markers. So what we can do is you can tell the map, hey, here's the URL. In that file, you'll find all the points of interest I want to draw on the map. Please do it. So this is an example. So what we do is we just go and fetch the file, and in that file we have airports. And we have information like to what is going to show up, in the bubble. Or that's the traffic layer I told you before. Here the example in San Francisco. So here what we do is we just put an overlay with the streets. So you see here, well, it's better take a detour or something. Geocoding. I told you before that it's really, really easy to give the map an address, and the address itself knows where it is. So this is an example we do here. We just put an overlay over the map, let the user enter a street address. You just hit go, and in the background what we do is we take the string, we give it the API and tell it, please geocode me that. The API gives me back the coordinates, and then we just set the center of the map to that coordinate, put a marker there, and display some information. that's directions. Told before, it's driving directions. You just take from where to where you want to go. Now, unfortunately, with the card, somehow I have an issue, and demo effect I get is one of these gray boxes. So, what does the code look like if you really want to go ahead and say, okay, cool, that looks cool. I want to put a map into my website. It's fairly easy. The first thing you need to do is within the head part of the HTML file, you need to include a script tag. This is needed. With that tag, you actually tell the browser to go to the Google website, download the JavaScript file, and in that JavaScript file, we have all the code needed, with all the functionality in there. The next thing is, what we do is, you can tell the map where should the map be displayed. The easiest thing is you just have a div tag. You can size it however big you want it, and you give it an idea. Whatever ID it is, here it's called map, but you could foo or ba or whatever you want to call it. Next thing, in the body, in the unload, so that means as soon as the page is loaded, the browser fires the unload event and calls the function called hello, which is defined right down here. So in this function, what we do is we create a new map, an object gmap2, and right here we actually define where to put it. So we go to document from the DOM, document object model, we just grab the div element right here, which is called it with the ID. So we just grab it and give it a map. So what the map does, goes into the DOM and adds all the HTML tags needed right into there. Next thing we do is we create a new point just by giving Latin longs. As soon as we have that, we tell the map, please center yourself to that point. That's how to create a marker. See, it's really easy. Just say, okay, I want to have a marker. Where do you want to put it? You just have to give it a point. Let's do the one we just specified right before. Then we tell the map, well, hey, I have this marker now. Please add it to the map. Because it's an overlay, we just say, okay, add this overlay, and we specify the point. Down here, what we do is, that's how to open up the info bubble. So we just tell, hey, you marker, please open up the bubble. And here we can either put some text or HTML or whatever. Just put in whatever you want, but that's what is going to be displayed. That's all. And with that, we have the hello world example, which would do just that. So it moves the map to the point which is specified before, creates the marker, and open up the info window. So with that, you can do all the stuff we see in all on these websites that integrate Google Maps. And since the API was released like 2 years ago, there are already thousands of websites out there using the API. It's really cool, we really love it, and we would love to see that you're using it on your website too. Well, this is just one thing which kind of started to bother us. It's really great having this map out there. Everybody can use it and it's so easy. But let's say, for example, I want to find an apartment. So what I do right now is I first go to this website like housingmaps.com. Well, they have our map on there. And I can really easily search for apartments they have to rent. So this is the page, shows me all the apartments. Looks kind of cool, but well, how about the crime? Like Chicago, there's some stuff going on. Well, it's cool. There's another website, chicagocrime.org. They provide that. They actually really have the police reports and tell you exactly where what crime happened. Well, it's kind of neat, but okay, now, well, the other thing is, I have kids. I need to send them to school, and where is the best school, to go to? Well, there's another map. They actually do have that, so they have all the great schools there. Well, it's really great, but now it starts to get complicated, because I kind of like that house here, where, well, no. You see, I have to switch and forth between all these websites. that's like one thing. And the other thing is people out there, developers like you, that do all these great maps. And it would be really great to show them to everybody. Well, if you look at just statistics, now here we have just some of the top sites that actually use our map API. Well, it's kind of neat, but well, still most of users go to Google Maps. So wouldn't it be cool if you could your data just on Google Maps and have everybody use it? Well, that's what we thought too, and so that's why we introduced Maplets. Really, the idea is here, bring your mashup to Google Maps and let everybody use it. There's now a preview version out. It's not on the regular map when you just go to maps.google.com, but there's a preview version out. Please go and check it out. Well, why don't we do it right now? So, what you see here, we added a new rider called Maplet. I already went ahead and actually added some, but there's a whole gallery where you can go and start searching for maplets out there. And of course, the idea is you create your own and you add it to the website. So let's go down to Chicago. Now let's go to Maplets. Now let's go to the real estate search. And what we see down here, as soon as I clicked up there, in this other part, actually another window opened. This now lets the user to start and set his parameters. So for example, I'm looking for an apartment with between 1 and 2 bedrooms, and I'm not willing to pay more than $3,000. So now let's search for apartments that are available. So that's what happened. Let's zoom in here. And you see we have all the apartments here. Now let's go ahead and turn on Chicago Prime. Just show it. Here I didn't put on the schools, but the transit maps, because it would be cool to be close to a tube station and get really fast somewhere. So let's turn that on as well. So with that, it's pretty easy to figure out that, well, yeah, it looks kind of cool because here, let's get it out. We can now start searching for a good place. But you see the point what we now do have here, which is, it's a mashup of mashup because we, from different sources, we put the information together. Well, okay, what is a maplet exactly? And how the heck can I get my information on Google Maps? Of course, we are scared to put any other information on our website other than ours because people could do really crazy stuff with JavaScript and doing it in our domain. So we don't really want to do that. So the way it happens is that we create an iframe. And with the iframe, it's like a sandbox. Whatever happens in there is just on its own, and you're not able to touch anything which is around it. So that's why it is done. We have an iframe, and in there is your application. And there you can do whatever you want. We don't care. That means you can go ahead and access data just from any other website or go to your server and perform the search. What you even can do is you can go ahead and store user preferences. Probably you saw before when I opened up the maplet with the real estate in Chicago, we already had 1, 2 bedrooms in there. That's because I did that before. So what it means is you can actually store the information on the Google website. It's not, you don't have to care about that. It's not in a cookie. As soon as the user logs in with his Gmail account, we store the information right there. So that's what the Gadget API is for. The Google Maps API then actually goes ahead and adds the overlays information on the map. What we also do is, of course, we listen to whatever events that happen on the map and bring it back to you to the maplet. So even in the maplet, you know what's going on. So if the user moves out somewhere and you kind of want to start having the listing or whatever, hey, that's what you can do. This is the code. That's what is needed to actually put up a maplet. What you will see here, it's actually an XML document. So what you do is you specify your XML document here. That's where you specify your maplet. You upload it to our website, to our gallery, and then everybody can find it. So up here, it's just some, like what kind of modules you want to add, what it is called, and then here the code. And so just put in whatever you need. So see, it's just exactly the same thing as we did before. Okay, now let's get into kind of details to see how it really works. So this is the Google Maps website. What you see is here we do have our map. The blue thing is actually the iframe. Now the iframe loads the XML file from the Google gallery. And as you probably know, there's security, cross-domain scripting is not allowed. So as soon as you load data from one of our servers, from the gallery server, you're not able to connect to your server anymore to get data. So what we did to get around that is that we actually have the Gmodules common server. That's where your maplet actually is being loaded from. And it acts as a proxy. So the call goes to here, and now server side, we just pass on the call to your server. That's the way how we can actually get around the security settings in the browser. And of course, this proxy here too does all the user preferences stuff. This is more details if you really, really want to know what's going on. So how the heck, I told before that what we don't want is that JavaScript within here can start messing with our map, but isn't that still what we want? We want to move the map, we want to plot stuff on there. Again, it's cross-domain because whatever is in here is not the same domain as we have here. Okay, we do another crazy trick. What we actually do is within that iframe, we create a new iframe which comes from the same domain as the map does. And in the URL, we just pass on all the code needed. So that means we serialize all the functions, we hash them, we packetize them, we ship it over. But no worries, it doesn't really go over the server. It's no server round trip, it all takes place within the browser. There's just like one thing you need to know. With the Maplet API, you can't do exactly the same thing as you can do with Maps API. There are some restrictions. For example, all the calls are asynchronous. The reason is because we need to packetize all the stuff, we need to send it over. That takes some time. So in order not to block your whole stuff down there, what we actually do is, when you use the Maps API, so you start zooming in, and then this function here is hold it until really the map is zoomed in, and after the map is zoomed in, then we go to the next line of code and show the alert. Well, because in Maplet's API, it's a synchronous call. What that means is you tell the map to zoom and the alert. Well, the map might not be zoomed in yet, but we already display the alert. That's not really what we want. So what we use here is a callback function. So you tell the map to zoom in, and you already provide the function that should be called after the map's actually really zoomed in. Just to make really sure that everybody sees it, that these are asynchronous calls, we renamed the methods and just added async to it. Like I said before, there are some restrictions. You will not be able to change the default behavior of the map with your maplet, meaning that you cannot turn off and on controls. Well, the reason for that is really obvious. let's say you started adding and have like 3 or 4 different maplets. Maplet 1 wants to have a zoom bar, maplet 2 doesn't, maplet 3 wants, and then they just start flickering. So we just decided, the map is just, it stays. You just cannot change the default behavior. Another thing is that whatever we show up in the bubble, as soon as you do that, you're again back in the Google Maps domain. So for security reasons, whatever HTML you show there, we strip out any JavaScript, because you could be a part of Google Maps and you could do some crazy stuff. So just for security reasons, we cut everything out, so you can't have any JavaScript. And some CS properties we take out too, because there's some other stuff you can do. But of course, what you can do is when you open up an info window, you can add an iframe. And because it's a sandbox, in the iframe you can do whatever you want. So you can put your JavaScript in there and you'll be fine again. Just some other thing. You probably are good with maplets. You're going to put on quite a lot of markers on the map. Well, don't do it like that. I mean, what this guy here did was, it was me, but don't tell anyone, no. So what I did here was, it's just a big for loop, and within the code, actually go ahead and put all the stuff in there. Of course, it's possible, but it's kind of ugly. And just imagine you would have to go and change, add or remove one of the points. Then you would have to go and change your JavaScript code. And that means you have to upload your maplet again to the gallery and just keeps on going. So that's really ugly. Well, instead use the feed, like we discussed before. Right now, we support 2 kinds of feeds. It's a KML feed. KML is a rich format to put all your geo stuff, geographic information in there. KML, Google Earth is also able to read KML files. It's also possible to do it with GRSS. GRSS is regular RSS, just with some extended tags, so you can put in Latin long and stuff like that. So we're able to read that too. This is a very, very simple KML example. So we just do in there, we add place marks, and in there the information. Of course, what you can do is, when you go ahead and fetch a KML file feed, on the server, it doesn't have to be a file. I mean, it can be actually a web service, and the web service goes to a DB and creates the feed on the fly and gives it back to us. So with that, you're really, really fast in changing information. These 2 lines are needed to display a feed on the map. It's really easy. First thing you do is you create an object, geo.xml. You specify the feed where we should go and grab it, and then you just add it to the map just with the same call as you would add on the regular marker. So that is really all needed to put all your information up on the map. You probably saw before that we had other tabs like My Maps. Just now, where does now Maplets really fit in? My Maps, which was introduced a couple of weeks ago, I believe, actually is more or less like a drag and drop editor. So it's really, really easy that anybody can go ahead, create its own map for like my birthday party. So this is where the bar is, where should we come to, and this is where we're gonna go for dinner later, and here you should park your car, and then I can go ahead and share the map with my friends. It's really easy for anybody to create a custom map. KML, with KML, like I said before, it's really easy to put all the information in there and plot it on the map. But what Maplet can, Maplet actually has interactivity like we saw before. What we can do is you can tell the user to specify parameters and stuff like that. And depending on that, we sort the information you have and only display whatever is in the range you want. So I really encourage everybody to go to URL preview, see what kind of maplets are around there, try it out. That would be really cool. So time is already over, and I hope I kind of sort of give you an impression what kind of stuff you can do, and I hope I kind of was able to infect you with my fever of the whole mapping stuff, what all cool stuff you can do. Yeah, so if you have any questions. Well, if not, then thank you so much, and great being here. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Well, in English, no?
Yes.
I'm working for a company that has like 3 maps, one for hotels, restaurants, and cars, rent cars. And there's the chance to add a maplet with these 3 channels. Then it's, but I don't know how. It's difficult.
Okay.
How
so
can we?
So what you can do
this?
is now you have the map. So of course now you can present that to your user. So what you can do is already the whole code you have, you just put it in that XML file. You can either upload it on the gallery and tell users, hey, here it is, and then they can go and find it there, and from there they add it, take it from the gallery and put it on their website.
Thank you.
Sorry, my English is
Sure, no problem.
very bad. I want to know how much points can I load with KML? Number of points.
Okay. What you can do is you can load as many points as you want. What we do is with the G marker, manager, we unload the points that are not on the map anymore, just to make it smoother. But there is actually no restriction. You can point even on one viewport as many as you want, but just after time the browser just is not able to work anymore. But in theory, I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I need traduction.
I want to know if is it possible to add a WMS layer in Google Maps or Mashups, geospatial consortium layers.
Sorry,
another layer of this kind of maps.
WMS.
WMS, OGC standard. No.
I'm sorry. I can tell you.
It's like KML, but it's an open standard.
Oh, okay. No, at this time we just support that, but there will be probably like more formats coming. But up to now we support KML and GRSS.
In the near future.
That's kind of hard to tell. As soon as we have it out, we'll let you know.
Thank you.
We would like to know if it's possible to load different camel archives depending on the level of the zoom.
Yes, you can do that by the manager. So you're able to tell the manager, now this set of markers only add from zoom level 5 to 10, and these markers only from 10 to 14. So yes, that is possible. Great, thank you so much, and have a good time.